Sairam children, Sairam, how are you all? I hope you all are fine. And children, you are preparing for your exam as you already received the date sheet. Yes, today is our environmental studies class and we are going to start a new chapter, chapter number 17, that is from social studies book, The United Nation. What is the name of the chapter? The United Nation. Before starting this chapter, I would like you to focus on one thing, that when you fight with your brother or sister, your parents stop the fight, isn't it? When you fight with your brother or your sister, who stops? Your parents stop the fight. Yes, they explain to you why you should not fight, right? If you have any complaint against someone in your school, you go to your teacher, right? Or there you are fighting with somebody, so you contact to your teacher for letting the fight stop. And if this is brother sisters, this is between the in school, but what about if the two countries have problem with each other? Who helped them to stop their dispute? Who helped them? Yes, the name of the chapter, the United Nation. The United Nation is the organization who helped the two countries in resolving their problems. Okay, now we are going to read what is there inside this chapter. Okay, yes, World War. You must have heard this word, World Wars. There are so many. There are word wars, two word wars. Okay, and that word war damaged or destroyed a lot of things which we are going to study. First of all, World War First. World War First broke out in August 1914. It was a terrible war in which several nations of the world were involved. First World War took out August 1914. Okay, it was a terrible war and several nations of the world were involved in this World War First. The war started in Europe when the industrialized nation of the world became jealous of each other's power. See, the countries are also become not only people, individual people become jealous of each other, but the countries also become jealous of each other's power. Each country wanted its own empire to grow. Millions of soldiers and other people were killed or wounded. Cities were destroyed and there were severe shortage of food. In World War First, it broke out on August 1914. It was very terrible war and so many nations are involved in it. The war started in Europe because several nations become jealous of each other's power. Everybody wants their own country to grow. Millions of soldiers and other people were killed in this war and wounded. Cities were destroyed and there were severe shortage of food. Okay, after few years of peace, after this World War First, it became peace for few years. Then World War Second. Then World War Second took place. Broke out in September 1939. It was ended in 1945 after the USA dropped atomic bombs over two Japanese cities, that is Hiroshima and Nagasaki. These are the two cities of Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, on which USA dropped atomic bomb on it on 1945. The loss of life and destruction of cities in World War II as much as greater than World War First. World War Second is destruction of life, loss of life, destruction of cities were in great number if we compare it with World War First. Okay, see, this is the destruction during World War First in London, and this is during World War Second by USA, when USA dropped 2 atomic bomb on Japanese cities, that is Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, now the formation of United Nations. How United Nations formed? After World War II, the nations of the world came together to find the way of preventing war in future. When they saw the destruction or damage in the world, the nation of the world, came together to find out some preventive measure to prevent the war if the war is there in the future. Okay, the tremendous destruction and miseries of two wars had made them wiser. As a result, their efforts of the United Nations was born in 1945. A set of rules called Charter of United Nations was made at the conference in San Francisco, USA. It was signed by 50 member countries on October 24, 1945. Today, there are 193 countries who are the member of United Nations. Why United Nations formed? United Nations formed to make the peace among the nation. Because of these two world wars, the nations become wiser. As a result, their efforts, the United Nations was born in the year 1945, and the rules made there called the Charter of the United Nations, that was made at the conference of San Francisco, which is in USA, and that time it was signed by 50 member countries on October 24, 1945, and today 193 countries are the member of United Nations. Okay, now what are the aims of United Nations? If we are forming some organization, so there must be some aim to be followed. So according to the Charter of United Nations, the aims are, first of all, to maintain the international peace and security. To make the international peace and security. The main aim of United Nations is to prevent war, first of all, and disputes are discussed at the meeting and efforts are made to find a peaceful solution. Sometimes there is danger of war between two nations, so United Nations send military force called peacekeeping force to prevent the war. Understood? First of all, to maintain the international peace and security among the nations. Okay, and if the United Nations find that there is a danger of war between the disputed countries, so United Nations send its military force for peacekeeping and prevent the war. Second, to develop friendly relationship between the nation. USA help the other nation to make the friendly relations. Okay, next, to encourage respect for human rights and freedom of all the people. The aim of United Nations was to encourage and respect the human rights and freedom of all the people. All member nations of the United Nations are expected to ensure that human rights are upheld in their countries. Means they are following the human rights properly or not. Next, to achieve international cooperation in solving economic and social problems. The aim of United Nations, is to achieve international cooperation in solving their economic and social problems. Okay. It believes that the world can help lasting peace only when all nations of the world achieve the progress in its development. Therefore, it expects the richer nation to help the poor countries in improving their standard of living or the living standard. It also helps to improve the education in their countries. Means United Nations achieve the international cooperation in solving the economic and social problem by UN expect the richer countries to provide help to the poor countries in their living standard and also improve their education system. Next, to help fight diseases and preserve the environment. This is also the duty of or the aim of UN. Okay. Next, United Nation has Security Council, General Assembly, Economic and Social Council, International Court of Justice, Secretary, Trusteeship Council. Okay, these 6 are the main bodies of United Nations. The principle of United Nations. Now we have the principles. First we studied about the aims. Now it has principle. All countries that are member of United Nations are equal. In the eyes of UN, all the member countries are equal. However, they are developed or underdeveloped, they may be. Whether they are developed countries or they are underdeveloped countries. All countries that are member of UN must obey the charter, means must obey the rules, set rules made by UN. Countries must try to settle their differences by peaceful means. UN expect the countries, the nations to settle their differences by peaceful means only. The UN will not interfere in the domestic affairs of any country. UN, the principle of United Nations, will not interfere, means the UN will not interfere in their domestic matters, means their national matters. They only interfere if it is an international affair. Okay. Now the structure of UN. UN has 6 different organ bodies which functions. First we have General Assembly, then Security Council, the Secretariat, the Economic and Social Council, the International Court of Justice, and the Trusteeship Council. Okay. First of all, the General Assembly. The General Assembly is the main organ of UN. It is made up of all 193 member countries. Each country has 1 vote. It meets every year. Discussion on all actions of the UN are held in General Assembly. Every member country can put forward its ideas and opinions. Based on discussions, decisions are taken on what actions should be taken. Members decide routine matter with a simple majority vote. Important decisions are required of 2/3 majority. However, it is not compulsory for the member nation to follow the recommendation of the General Assembly. First of all, General Assembly is the main organ of UN. It is made for all the 193 member countries. Each country has 1 vote. Okay, and there they discuss about the ideas and opinion. Okay, and on that they will take the action, what action should be taken. Okay, now next is the Security Council. The Security Council is the most powerful organ of the UN. First of all, the Security Council, the name itself says security. So Security Council is the most powerful organ of the UN. It is responsible for maintaining international peace and for restoring. What is the responsibility of Security Council? Maintaining the international peace and restoring the peace if a war break out. Okay, if there is a war, so Security Council restore the peace between the nations. The council meet whenever there is a threat to peace. It may also meet if the nation has a complaint against another nation. All the member countries have to accept the decision. The Security Council has 15 members. 5 of them have permanent seat. The United States of America, the United Kingdom, France, Russia and China. They have the permanent seat. These permanent members have the power to veto or overrule any majority resolution. The other 10 members are elected for each for 2 years. First of all, we have 15 members in Security Council. They have and 5 among 5 have the permanent seat. The USA, the UK, France, Russia and China. They are the permanent member of the Security Council. They have the power to veto, or it means to overrule any majority resolution. Okay, and 10 other members are elected after every 2 years. Okay, now the secretariat, the people who works in UN, that is the staff members, okay, form the secretariat. It carries out day-to-day work of the UN. The head of it is called the Secretary General. He or she carries out the decision of Security Council and is a powerful person. The head of the Secretariat is called the Secretary General. He or she carries out the decision of the Security Council and is the powerful person. The Secretary General is chosen for 5 years by the General Assembly. The present Secretary General is Antonia, assumed the post on 1st January 2017. Understood? Now, Economic and Social Council. Economic and Social Council works under the General Assembly. It looks after those programs of UN which provide help to developing nations. It also looks after the program related to education, health and culture. It looks after the work of several agencies that work for the poor and needy. Economic and social means they work for the economy and the social factors, means they help provide the help to developing nation. First of all, they help developing nations, and they help and they look after the program which is related to the education of the nation, health of the people and culture. And it look after several agencies that work for poor and needy people. Next, we have special agencies. Much of the work of UN is carried out by specialized agencies. Means now whatever we study, these are the special agencies made by UN. Okay, they deal with the food aid, health, education, environment and agriculture. The special agencies made by UN work for the first aid, health and education, environment and agriculture. Member countries pay for the work of these agencies. The richer a nation is, the more it pays. Okay, first of all, UNICEF. You all must have studied or seen about UNICEF. Its advertisements also come on television and in magazines also. United Nations Children's Fund. UNICEF is responsible for the welfare of children all over the world. It conducts programs, especially in developing countries, to ensure that the food, health and education need carries out for children are met or not. Okay. UNICEF means United Nations Children's Fund, means they look after for the welfare of children in especially in developing countries, to make sure that they'll get food, health and educational needs. Next we have UNESCO, United Nations Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization. UNESCO was established in 1946. The aim to encourage the nation to work together in the progress of education, science and culture. The UNESCO educate people about their health and farming methods, spread scientific knowledge, teacher training programs and cultural exchange of students, teachers between the countries. UNESCO was established in 1946 and its aim to encourage the education, science and culture among the countries, and it also educate the people about their health, the farming methods which they are using and which upgraded farming method, spread the scientific knowledge, teacher training programs and cultural exchange of students and teachers between the countries. The next special agency is WHO, World Health Organization. It was established in 1948. Its aim is to improve the health of the people of the worldwide. It provides help and training for the health workers for fight against diseases such as malaria, tuberculosis and AIDS. It promotes research in health and medicine. It also provides information about outbreak of epidemics. Okay? WHO was established in 1948. Its aim to improve the health of the people. It provides help and training to the health worker to fight against the diseases such as malaria, tuberculosis and AIDS. Now we have Food and Agriculture. Next special agency is Food and Agricultural Organization. The main aim of Food and Agricultural Organization is freedom from hunger. This is the main aim. Freedom from hunger is the main aim of Food and Agricultural Organization. The main aim is food from hunger for every human in the world. It helps the nation to increase the food production. It provides them with help in getting better seeds, controlling crop and animal diseases, improving irrigation, conserving soil and forest, etc. It warns of food shortage and arrange food for the people suffering during some such times. Okay? Next is International Labour Organization. The main aim of International Labour Organization is to improve the working condition and living standard of the working class. Means the people who are working or labor, they look after their working condition and living standard. Now the achievements of UN. If the UN is working and established in 1945, so there must be some achievement. Means if they are forming any organization, whether these organization following the rules or not, so it is checked from its achievements. The United Nations has tried to prevent tension or war between the countries. It has been largely successful in its effort. Wars between India and Pakistan, Iran and Iraq, Israel and Palestine, North and South Korea and many other countries were not allowed to grow bigger, mainly because of the efforts of United Nations. The United Nations also play an important part in arms control, especially in preventing the use of nuclear weapons. This is the achievement. The UN has been very successful in its fight against poverty, diseases, and illiteracy. It has also achieved success in improving cultural cooperation among the countries. However, people in the developing world feels that the UN does not understand the problem of the developing nations very well and is therefore unable to solve their problem. It could not prevent the invasion of Israel by American led armed force in 2003 nor put an end to the war in Sudan. Some people have also questioned the veto power enjoyed by the five permanent member countries of UN. So these are the achievements of UN, that first of all UN prevent many wars between the countries to become large. India, Pakistan, Iran, Israel, Iran, Iraq, North, South Korea, and many other countries. And UN also played an important role in arms control, especially the use of nuclear power. Okay. Now we have India's contribution to the United Nations. India has been a member of the United Nations since it was formed in 1945. It also stood for peace and played an important role in UN's effort for world peace. Some of the main important achievements and efforts of India are as follow. First of all, Indian Armed Force has been used as a peacekeeping force in Middle East, Cyprus, and the Democratic Republic of Congo and Sudan. India is not a permanent member of UN Security Council. However, India has been elected several times for a seat in Security Council. For example, during 1984-85, during 1991-92. India played a prominent role in putting forward the concerns of developing countries at the United Nations. India actively opposed the policy of considering blacks as inferior or to white in South Africa. This policy was known as apartheid. Finally, due to the pressure of United Nations and countries like India was abolished in South Africa. India established relation with South Africa only after this. Many Indians are working in UN agencies. India has also received help from time to time from the agencies for its development programs. Okay, so what is the role of India? India has been the member of United Nations since it was formed in 1945. It also stood for peace. Okay, Indian Armed Force has been used as peacekeeping force. India is not the permanent member. Still, India was selected several times for the seat of Security Council. India played an important, prominent role in putting forward the concerns of the developing nation. India actively opposed the policy of considering blacks as inferior to white in South Africa. Many Indians are working in UN, also received help from time to time from the agencies for its development program. Okay, now we will see that what we have learned in this chapter. The United Nations was formed after the death and destruction caused by World War II on October 24, 1945. The main aims of UN are to prevent war, to safeguard human rights, improve standard of living, fight against diseases, and preserve the environment. There are six main organs of UN: General Assembly, Security Council, the Secretariat, the Economic and Social Council, the International Court of Justice, and Trusteeship Council. The Secretary General is the highest official of the UN. The work of the UN, other than maintaining world peace, is to carry out by the specialized agencies which we have studied. For example, UNICEF, UNESCO, Food and Agricultural Organization, like this. And India has played a prominent role in the activities of the UN. I hope you all have understood this chapter. Read the chapter twice so that you can more understand this chapter. Okay children, and all the best for your exams. Sairam.